Hey guys, Nan Rider here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Punch Man 76. I think it was called Stagnation and Growth. I don't really remember. Let me just take a quick look. Stagnation and Growth. Yeah, Stagnation and Growth. So it was a pretty good chapter. I mean, we got different aspects to this chapter than we've seen before in One Punch Man. We got more of an introspective monologuing type of chapter, well, half the chapter anyway, compared to other chapters where it's all action based and it's all just straight up fighting. I mean, we have been getting more of this like introspection type thing with Suiryu, but we haven't seen it from Saitama really before, and that's what we get with this chapter. We start off with Puri-Puri Prisoner versus a monster demon class called Free Hugger, which is basically just this giant hedgehog porcupine looking ass thing. It's a hedgehog looking thing with like these spines, these deadly spines all over its body, and he's having issues fighting it because obviously he's way more powerful than Free Hugger, but he can't do anything to it because every time he tries to attack it, he gets damaged by the impenetrable spines. And he has an iron ball around his leg, around his foot, which he should be using to clobber the demon. That should be his way out. But the comical part of this chapter was the crowd was shouting at him from like across the city on a building top. They were shouting at him to use the iron ball to clobber the demon, to clobber the monster even. And he can't really hear them, so he's just like, "Thank you for your cheers. I'll kiss you after this." I was like, "What?" And they're looking at him like, "Yo, this dude's weird. Why is he even naked?" And I was like, "Yo, it's classic Puri-Puri Prisoner." But it was a nice bit of comedy to this chapter, and his answer to fighting Free Hugger was, "Wait, I should use love. I should accept all of the pain with deep, overflowing love." And I was like, what? What? How does that even make any sense? So so he defeats Free Hugger, and then Puri-Puri Prisoner finds himself in a situation where it sounds like the Hero Association called him. Now the issue with this chapter, where did Puri-Puri Prisoner pull his cell phone out of? Where did he get his mobile phone out of? You know, there's only one place it could have been, and they gave us a little panel of his butt. So, you know, you can infer from that what you will, but it sounds like he's got a bit of a closet down there, you know. So Puri-Puri Prisoner finds himself in a situation where the Hero Association called him up, and they're like, "Bruh, your prison inmates from the prison you were at, they've all been kidnapped." Now, we already know that Neko monster thing converted a lot of the inmates into monsters, so it may not be that they were kidnapped, but more so that they've become monsters and they did one, and they're going with the monsters back to Z City. So and it looks like Puri-Puri Prisoner's run after them, and he's gone after them to try and save them. Little known to him is that they're probably monsters, and he's probably going to get his ass kicked by the sheer number of monsters, especially if that Neko guy is any good. So we know that Saitama's running through the city scanning for monsters, and Puri-Puri Prisoner best hope that he ends up in Z City where he lives, and Saitama helps his ass before he gets wrecked. So as I said, Saitama's running through the city scanning for monsters. He realizes all the monsters have left. They all came at once, rampaged for 3 to 4 hours, then they left at once. Now this was another aspect of Saitama we don't usually see. He's considering, and he's trying to take in all this information and use it to understand the reasoning behind this attack. So he's using his brain for once. He says that they all came at once, they rampaged for a number of hours, and then they left at once, but they must have done that for a reason. They must have been some reason they did that, and we already found out from Goketsu that I think he might have said, I'm not sure if he did, he either said we did it to instill fear in humans, or we did it not to instill fear in humans. I think he said we did it to instill fear in humans, but this was only the first part. The second part comes after our little meet in Z City. That's when all the big guns are going to pop out. So that was their reason, to instill fear in the humans and to let them know of the Monster Association. So we also see another aspect of Saitama apart from him thinking, which is new to us. Saitama is racked with guilt. He's racked with guilt because he says, how can I call myself a hero if I'm not defeating monsters? How did these guys all fly under my radar while I was messing around, not doing anything, and most of the cities had been destroyed and I was doing nothing? So he seems to be racked with guilt that he couldn't do anything for people, and that he can't call himself a hero when the people have all been destroyed. But then he realizes But actually, first he says, if you're gonna make out a scene, I want to talk about this verse. He goes, if you're gonna make out a scene, he's addressing the monsters, do it in my neck of the woods. Now the funny part here is they're meeting in his neck of the woods. They're all gonna meet in Z City. So if he ends up in Z City, it's gonna be his job to take them out, and he's probably gonna get all his he's gonna release all his pent up frustration on them, and he's just gonna kick some ass. I'm hoping that's what happens. But yeah, like I said before, he's concerned about calling himself a hero when he couldn't do anything, when he didn't do anything. But he realizes in this chapter that he doesn't care what people think of him. We always knew this, and he's all about satisfying himself, i.e., a meaningful battle, a meaningful fight that's challenging. He's a hedonist almost. He's kind of devoted to he's devoted to his pursuit of pleasure, of self-satisfaction, and of satisfying himself. Yeah. So then he questions whether he is actually satisfied, though, having been a hero, having joined the Hero Association. What has he done that's gotten him anywhere near to satisfaction? Why did he become a hero in the first place? So he says his original reason for becoming a hero was because he was interested in heroes, whereas for us, we know how he first fought a demon or fought a monster, and he kind of just reacted on instinct. He saved that child just because his legs were moving, and he did it by accident almost. He just did it by instinct. And so it's kind of that instinctual behavior which makes a hero. You either move or you don't. It's like My Hero Academia all over again. So, but he thinks, well, he says the reason he became a hero is because he was interested in heroes. But he's still bored, and he hasn't really gained anything from the Hero Association. So even through the martial arts tournament, he hasn't gained anything, even though he's gained followers. He doesn't really treat that as something he's gained. They're just people to him. So he hasn't gained anything, I think, on a physical basis, on an emotional basis, or a mental basis. I.e., so let's say originally he strove for power and he fought monsters and such. My arm's going off. But yeah, so he strove for power and he fought monsters who were stronger than him before he became excessively strong, and that made his victories meaningful and they were thrilling to him on an emotional level. They were thrilling. He got all that excitement, all that adrenaline. So that was cool. That was fun times for him. However, once he attained excessive power, now his battles do little to improve his skills. He doesn't gain anything from them physically, and they do little to excite him. So he finds no gain in his job, which is to actually fight monsters. So even though he's done all of this to attain excessive strength, now that he's got the excessive strength, he's lacking in his emotional, mental, and now he can't even improve himself physically because he's just the top of his league. So I like this aspect of Saitama because he still feels guilty no matter what he said in this chapter. We know that, and you can see by the way he kind of, his body language, the way he's rubbing his head, the way he's walking through the streets. He knows his job. He still feels guilty because he knows his job as a hero is to at the very least, aid the other heroes. You know, he doesn't really need to help people because just him fighting will help people in general. But he should have been there at least to aid the other heroes who are weaker than him. Even C-class heroes in this chapter, we see that water gun guy dude. We see that water gun dude who's like laid out, almost knocked out, and he's barely conscious. And Saitama is way stronger than that guy, but that guy turned up to fight. All the guys that turned up to fight are a lot weaker than Saitama, yet he didn't turn up. So that's what I feel is racking him with guilt, that he neglected his duty, and his duty was just to fight monsters, something he's been doing anyway. So he neglected that while he was messing around, and maybe that's what weighs on him. He could have stopped it, but he was too busy messing around. So I really like this chapter. It kind of shows that even though Saitama has everything, he also has nothing to fight for. And that's what he needs to find. If he continues to go down this route, this guy's gonna end up a monster, but the bad type of monster is in eating a monster cell, a monster heart. But Saitama's not an idiot, so hopefully he'll find what he's truly fighting for. Because at the moment he's saying he's fighting for a challenge, but he needs to find something better than that, because it doesn't seem like he's gonna get a challenge. So he should start fighting for not so that people call him a hero, but just so that he can save the people, or at least save heroes, his friends in the association. But yeah, I like this chapter. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10 because it was different to what we normally see, but it was still a good chapter. I like the whole Puri-Puri Prisoner thing. I liked his idiocy, and he best hopes Saitama's running after his ass because he's gonna get his ass whooped. But I've got my One Piece chapter coming out, my One Piece chapter review coming out in a few hours. So I'm just gonna jump on that right now. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter, and I'll sign out and see you guys in a bit.